Hello, Gemini, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. So we're looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and then the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I have pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps, leave what doesn't. All right, Gemini. On your side of this connection, you have grief and sadness with the Judgment in reverse. And the other card that came out with grief and sadness was shattered. Like a mirror that was shattered. And I feel like this was a representation of some sort of illusion shattering in some way. Like you thought this was something it wasn't, or you thought this person was someone they weren't, because the Judgment in reverse can be an indication of like rose-colored glasses, or like seeing things through rose-colored glasses, or not really seeing like the truth of who someone is or what, something really is. And then I feel like, I don't know what happened, but that illusion was shattered in some way, and that left you with this grief and sadness that I feel like you've been dealing with when it comes to this connection. Now this person, they have triggered with the Chariot in reverse. So this is another kind of energy of things coming to a halt almost out of nowhere. Like I feel like maybe things were moving along and then something happened. I don't know what happened, what triggered this person, what went down, but it's like I just hear like squealing of brakes, like just like pumping on the brakes, hitting a brick wall, like almost. I don't know. I just feel like, and this I think is what left you in this energy, whatever happened here, which maybe we'll get to the root of, because then in between the connection, I mean, all of this is very heavy energy. You have the 10 of Swords with drama. So I feel like there's a sense of betrayal or, abandonment, which I feel could also, feel like betrayal. There's definitely just this sense of it's like, how could you do this? Or how could someone do this? Or I don't know. Now this drama card is this energy of like a mask. And I feel like this mask is what created the illusion. Like almost to the extent, like if you see that there's kind of like this illusion depiction on the mask. Like I feel like this person, I don't know if they pretended to be someone they weren't, or if they pretended to have different intentions. This could be like a ghosting situation. I don't necessarily know, but I do know that you're struggling with it. Now the overall theme of the reading, which was very interesting for the energy that you're in, is calling in your soulmate. It says your prayers, your affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So what I see this as is like, I look back at every single heartbreak that I ever went through before I met my fiance. And at the time, I wouldn't have believed you, but I look back at it now and I'm grateful for every single one. I'm grateful for every single failed relationship. I'm grateful for all of it because the healing that I experienced and the growth that I experienced and the wisdom that I acquired, like everything that I was able to gain from those really painful experiences made me the person I am today. And I can honestly say that if I hadn't have been through those things, particularly like one or two of the big ones, I wouldn't have been the person I needed to be able to attract and sustain my relationship with my fiance that I have now. And so what I'm getting at with that is that I truly believe that what Spirit is trying to tell you in this reading is that you're, through the painful failed relationships, especially this one, I feel like that you're going through, I feel like I'm going to get people immediately that are like, screw that, no way. But it feels like you're actually getting closer to attracting the person that is meant for you. And honestly, I think that that's what our failed relationships in our life are all about, is they all serve a purpose to help us understand ourselves, heal, grow, learn in some way so that we can, because our relationships with other people are a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. So as we grow, as we heal, as we evolve, our relationship with ourselves improves, and then we attract people that align more with self-love and acceptance and all of the things that we've been missing in our relationship. So I don't know, just like an air of positivity, I feel like, to a pretty, I don't want to say it's a negative reading, but I feel like it's a very heavy reading. But let's see. Let's just see what we're dealing with. Gemini, let's start with grief and sadness with the Judgment in reverse. This is for Gemini's side of this connection to the person that you're dealing with. All right. Ooh. Okay, hang on. Ace of Swords in reverse. King of Wands. You could be dealing with the fire sign. That would be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But here's the King of Pentacles. So that's Earth sign energy. Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. You don't have to be dealing with either. But wait. Yeah, okay. This is really interesting because the way that you viewed this person when they first appeared in your life versus like the person that they ended up being are completely different people. And I feel like this Ace of Swords in reverse is interesting because there's this lack of like clarity, which I feel like there's this part of you that's maybe trying to figure out like what happened or why did this person change or like what, like, I don't know. It's like you're trying to figure out what happened. And I feel like, how do I say this? With this triggered card, it feels like it doesn't really have much to do with you. Now, what I mean by that is the way that this person was triggered, I don't feel was a result of like I don't feel like it was your fault. Now, I'm not saying you were totally perfect in the situation. You did nothing wrong. But I do definitely feel as if it's almost like you're looking for like, well, why, like, what did I do to deserve this? Like, why was... why would this person do this to me? Because that's what I got with the Ten of Swords. Like I don't understand how someone could do this to me. Why would they do this to me? It's like you're trying to figure out that. I don't know what they did. I don't know what happened here. I mean, I don't think I need to know. It's definitely not for me to know. But I do feel like the bigger picture here is understanding that I don't think it had anything necessarily to do with you. I feel like there's more going on their side than you might be fully aware of. But let's see. Gemini's side of this connection. Now, I'm not saying you have a right to feel however you feel. Because I do feel like there was, I don't know if betrayal was necessarily the right word. I mean, it could have been, but I don't know, like I said, that illusion shattering. Okay, let me just keep going. I'm trying to put the pieces of a puzzle together without all the pieces. The Moon, the Justice in reverse. There's the Judgment in reverse. Four of Pentacles. I mean, this is blind. This is like blindsided energy. Which I said with the Chariot in reverse is like out of nowhere. You know, the Justice in reverse is definitely an indication of like, yeah, you got screwed over. I do feel like you got screwed over here. But this Moon card indicates a deeper fear. A deeper fear that like maybe I'm deserving of it, or maybe this is as good as it'll ever get from me, or maybe I lost my chance, or I'll never have the love that I desire. It's almost like you're taking, okay, I'm going to say this, then I'm going to elaborate. It's like you're taking the way that this person treated you personally. It's a personal relationship, okay? So no one's going to blame you for that. But one of the best things my therapist ever taught me was that we cannot take the way that other people treat us personally. Because the way that other people treat us is not a reflection of us, but a reflection of them. But you're viewing it as a reflection of you, in a way. What did I do wrong? Why wasn't I good enough? How could this person do this to me? Like, what did I do to warrant this? And I feel like this is just one of those, like, I don't necessarily feel like it was your fault. That doesn't mean that there's not something you can learn from this or something you can take from this, because there always is in every situation. But I don't know. It's like there's this deeper fear of like, especially if you've experienced a lot of, situations where you felt betrayed or abandoned or whatever this Ten of Swords is representing, you're going to start to believe that that's the only way you're ever going to be treated, right? But I feel like there's a deeper lesson associated with this so that you can stop attracting people that do this, or specifically like in this person. So there's so much more. This isn't, and I kind of got this from this card, because this grief and sadness card and this drama card like kind of have similar vibes. And like black and white, like they just dark, and like I feel like it's very much like it's not all black and white. Like, I don't know, there's more to it than you think. Gemini side of this connection. It's like you're trying to move forward from this. Hang on, let me get more on the Six of Swords. It's like you're trying to move forward, but it's like you can't. Because you're stuck on the... It's like you feel like you can't heal or move forward until the wrong has been righted. Until the situation comes into balance, like until they apologize or acknowledge. I get that. For a long time, I was really stuck on a relationship with someone who treated me horribly. And I could not move on from this relationship. I mean, this person was emotionally abusive. Like it was horrible. I could not move on from it. I could not move on from it. And all I wanted was an acknowledgement and an apology. That's all I wanted. I wanted this person to acknowledge what they did to me, and I wanted them to apologize. And I genuinely felt like I was never going to be able to be happy, to move forward, to trust anyone ever again unless I got that. I never got it. But I learned that I never needed it. The only reason I thought that I needed it was because I was looking for that person to essentially make sense of the pain that I felt and the things that they did to me. it was almost as if I was like looking for their validation of the way that I felt. Like, so that I could know I was never deserving of it, or I could know that I was deserving of more. It was like I was looking for them to see that so that I could feel valued or valuable in that situation, since I certainly didn't feel that way during the connection. I feel like that's similar to what's going down here. Is it's like there's this part of you that's like looking for justice, because you're like, if this person could just see like what they did, then I will finally be able to see that I wasn't deserving of it, or that, I don't know exactly what the justice in reverse necessarily you're looking for, or like what justice you're looking for, but I feel like you feel stuck. It's like you feel like you can't move forward, or you never will be. Like you'll never heal. And I feel like it's important for you to know that you will, and that's why I feel like you have this calling in your soulmate card. But I don't know. I want to see what the heck's going on with this person before because, you know, I spent a lot of time trying to understand that person's actions and behavior, like why they did the things that they did, what was it about me that led to that, and I certainly wasted a lot of time doing that, because I realized that it was never about me. It was always about them. Their behavior, their actions toward me were never about me. They were about them. But the lesson that I had to learn was that I needed to essentially get to a place where I was able to see that the way that I was treated in that connection was the way that I felt I was deserving of being treated. And I accepted it for a really long time. And that's what I mean by, like, you can recognize that something isn't your fault, but also see what needs to be learned or healed or addressed so that you can close out the cycle for good. Well, let me see. This person's energy toward Gemini, because I feel like you're trying to make sense of someone that, like, not everyone has the same heart as you, because when we try to put ourselves in other people's shoes, we think, okay, what would I do if I was in their position? But you might not be dealing with someone who is at the same place in their life and doesn't have the same, like I said, same heart, same level of empathy, same emotional intelligence. Like when you're trying to understand why people do the things they do, you're trying to understand it from like what you would do, right? And sometimes we have to just understand that there are people out there who are hurting and who aren't doing anything to help themselves, so they hurt other people in the process. And I'm not saying that's okay or that it's justified or anything like that, but sometimes when we're trying to understand why someone hurt us, we're spending our time trying to understand like why they thought we were deserving of that when it didn't have anything to do with us. That's what I'm trying to get at. I hope that makes sense. Okay, this person's energy toward Gemini. Triggered with the Chariot in reverse. Person's energy. Whoa. King of Pentacles in reverse. With the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so this is this energy of, how do I say that? Like focusing too much on surface level things. So prioritizing surface level connections. And I feel like that's what any connection is going to start with, right? You're going to kind of meet each other at the surface, and then as the connection develops, you get deeper, deeper. And I feel like you guys met at the surface, but then as the connection started to deepen, this person didn't, it's like they couldn't go deeper. And that's when the triggered energy came out. It's like you were pushing them to face parts of themselves they didn't want to face. Not like you were doing anything wrong, just like their connection to you was pushing them to face parts of them they didn't want to face. And so I feel like, because there's the death right there, it's like I don't know if they bolted or what happened, but they slammed on the brakes. Yeah, it's like they slammed on the brakes because it got too deep. It got too serious. Even though I feel like they presented themselves as someone that wanted that, which is what made it confusing for you, because then you were like, you're like, well, you wanted that, but then all of a sudden it started to happen, and then, you slammed the brakes. So then it has you going, well, you said you wanted that, but then in the end you didn't, so it must be me. It must be something about me. Something I did must have been wrong, or you must want that, but not with me, or something like that. And that's when you often hear, and I'll get people comment, they'll be like, oh, well, this person's emotionally unavailable. Like, they left me and they ended up, moving on to someone else and giving them everything I ever wanted. And my answer to that always is, because I've experienced it, is that person might have met someone that doesn't make them go deeper, that meets them on the surface and doesn't push them further into themselves, which, I think it's important for us to remember that people can only meet us where they've met themselves, right? So if you're pushing someone to meet you on a level that's deeper than they've met themselves, you're going to have to push someone to meet themselves deeper, right? And that's what a lot of people spend a lot of their life doing, is running from themselves, from the deeper parts of themselves, the shame, the guilt, the ways they feel unlovable, the things that, the trauma, like all of it. Most people don't want to face any of it because it's uncomfortable. It's not fun. It's always worth it. A healing journey is always worth it, but in the beginning, it sucks because you have to peel back the layers of it. And I feel like what kind of happened here, and this actually makes a lot more sense with your energy too, because I feel like what happened here is you're trying to understand what happened, like in terms of like what you did or the surface level. You're trying to understand like what went down. But ultimately what happened is the capacity at which you're looking to experience connection and the capacity to which this person is capable of that were completely unmatched. And as you push this person to go deeper, not necessarily like you pushed them or you did anything wrong, but like as you desired that deeper connection, this person got more and more triggered, more and more afraid, and withdrew. And I feel like that left you going, okay, what the hell happened? What did I do wrong? Why am I not good enough? Why am I not, valuable? Which is why I feel like it's made it really hard for you to move on, because you're like, or move forward or to heal from this, because you're still trying to figure out things from this perspective of what you did. Like what could I have done differently to make this person stay or value me or choose me or commit or whatever the case is. And I'm going to be honest with you, Gemini, nothing. There is nothing you could have done, because like I said, the capacity of what you were looking for and what you deserve, okay, you're not asking for too much, but the capacity of what you were looking for, and like I said, the capacity of what this person was capable of, because you were looking to meet them deeper than they met themselves, were unmatched. So it doesn't mean you can't have it. It doesn't mean you can't have what it is you're looking for, what it is that you desire. It means that this person is incapable of being that for you. And it's kind of like it's not you, it's me. Like, it's like, I really don't think it's about you. I feel like it's about them and about where they're at, like emotionally, on their growth journey, like on their healing journey, like regardless of their age. People can be 80 years old and completely emotionally immature. It doesn't really matter. And we have to learn that, people, first of all, people typically show us who they are through their actions. And we have to learn to believe who people are when they show us who they are and not take it personally, which isn't easy, especially when you're dealing with a personal connection, right? But the way we don't take it personally is we look at it from this perspective of, this is about them, not me. But then you look at it from your perspective of like, okay, but what is this trying to teach me? Like, what is this showing me? What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? Now, I'm not saying this doesn't make it any less painful, okay? These situations are freaking painful, and I understand that. And again, you need to feel however you feel. You are justified in your feelings. You are justified in your experience. But I feel like you're looking for an explanation from this person. This person isn't going to come up to you and be like, hey, Gemini, sorry I hurt you. I haven't met myself on a deep enough level to be able to reciprocate the kind of love and commitment that you were looking for. So I screwed this up, or I pushed you away, or I slammed on the brakes, or I sabotaged, or I cheated, or whatever the case is, because I don't know how to handle my own emotions. Like, first of all, if the person is doing what they're doing here, the apology that you're looking for isn't going to happen because, or the accountability isn't going to happen because, again, this person hasn't met themselves at that level. So it's like you're trying to understand them and like have them explain, but they don't even understand themselves. Like, again, they've only met themselves with the King of Pentacles in reverse, like on the surface here. This person's energy toward Gemini. I knew we were going to see this. I knew it. I seriously knew it. Because here's the Ten of Cups. It's almost as if like this person saw this in this connection, like saw it going this way, saw the potential of it, and this freaked them out. The commitment, the depth of it, the emotions that it drew out of them. It's like they didn't know how to freaking handle that. So they said, I'm not going to. And you're going, what the hell did I do wrong? And it's like, over here, they're seeing this connection as the Ten of Cups. So, it's interesting because, like, how that can happen, right? Like, this person's like, oh, wow, this feels too good to be true, so I'm going to screw it up because I don't know how to be in a healthy, sustainable relationship. And then you're going, why am I not good enough? When in reality, it absolutely is. One of the things that we have to remember is that 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way we interact with our reality is conscious level decision making. So again, this person isn't like thinking these things, right? This person isn't like, I haven't met myself on a deep enough level to be able to connect with this person. Like that's just not how it's going. But that's why like difference in capacity and difference in emotional intelligence and levels of awakening, like that's going to determine whether or not someone can meet you where you're at. So instead of looking at it from this perspective of why wasn't I good enough for them, try to look at it from this perspective of this person wasn't able to meet you where you're at. I don't want to say they weren't good enough for you, because everyone, it's not that you're like better than them or whatever the case is, which I feel like we kind of have a tendency to view, maybe when we're a little bit more emotionally mature or evolved, like it's easy to kind of slip into that ego mentality of like, oh, I'm better than people who aren't. But that's not what I'm saying, okay? It's just that you are at a different place in your journey than they are. And that means that you are deserving of people who can match your capacity. And this person definitely was not. And I feel like you were very blindsided by that, because maybe they like their words, because again, the mask, all those things. But one of the coolest things about my healing journey that I've learned, I can spot that from miles away. It's so cool. Like I can tell. I'm like, this person is BSing the hell out of me. And like, it's just so easy to tell now because I've been able to kind of meet, honestly, the versions of myself that would put on masks and, try to be what I thought I needed to be for other people, and now I can spot it. So healing and growth can kind of help you listen to your gut a little bit more when things are not right for you, or when someone's intentions are a little bit off. All right, this person's energy toward Gemini. I definitely feel like they bolted. Here you are again, or the fire sign energy again, not you, Gemini. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy. I don't know. You don't have to be dealing with fire sign, but I feel like the fire energy in this connection definitely makes me feel like there's a lot of passion, a lot of intensity, a lot of fire, right? And I feel like that may be overpowered, because when you have a lot of passion and intensity for someone, it can kind of overpower deeper truth, deeper feelings, and we can really, really start to confuse the way we feel about someone, the butterflies and the excitement and the attraction. We can start to prioritize that over the way that somebody makes us feel, where we're saying, do I feel respected, heard, seen, valued? Is this person clear on what they want? Do they communicate? Or am I constantly second guessing and wondering where I stand? But, I think that this person, it's almost like it was too much for them, but not in a way that like you're too much. And it's not in a way that what you're asking for is too much. It's just like they didn't have the depth to meet you there. And I think that that's why with the Knight of Swords, they were like, gotta get the hell out. Slam on the brakes. I'm triggered. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know how to deal with any of it. I haven't met myself deep enough to deal with any of it. I don't feel my emotions. I don't face the things that make me feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to avoid it all and bye. Like, that's what it kind of feels like, which is typically where ghosting comes from. I'm not saying you were ghosted this situation. You could have been. But ghosting is the most immature, is the biggest sign of immaturity, because it is literally someone who can't communicate or address things that are uncomfortable. So, if you're dealing with someone who did that, don't, I can say don't take it personally all day long. But seriously, like, it has more to do with them than it does you. And that doesn't make it easier, and it doesn't make it feel hurt any less, but it can certainly give you a different perspective of like, okay, this isn't about me. This doesn't mean that I was deserving of this, that I did something wrong, that I wasn't valuable. This is more about this person and their capacity and what they're capable of. And I gotta heal, learn what I need to. But all that means is that the love that I deserve and desire is still out there, which I feel like is what this calling in your soulmate is really talking about here. I hope what I'm saying is making sense, because I feel like, trying to talk about like emotional capacity and things of that nature can be really hard, especially when someone pretends to have like a different emotional capacity than we thought. But I do think that, one of the things that kind of comes from healing is it's almost like you stop desiring being loved by others so much because you have this love for yourself that it's like you don't feel like you need it from others as much. So you see people for who they are and how they treat you, and it's almost like you have this new standard of like, now I know how to be loved well because I love myself well. So if you can't do that, I'm gonna spot it. I'm gonna see it. And I'm not saying you don't love yourself at all or anything like that, Gemini. But I do think that like sometimes, and this is what I learned, like that relationship that I went through, horrible, awful, terrible time, was one of the best things that ever happened to me because of the healing and growth and the lessons that came from that. And I can truly say, if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I wouldn't have the love that I do now. And I would go through it all again to be here. And I say that from this perspective of like, if you would have told me that at the time, I probably would have slapped you. Like, I don't think I would have believed you. So I understand how you can be like, how the hell can this be a good thing when you're going through something like this? But I feel like that's why you have calling in your soulmate, is it's like you can still have the love that you desire. You can still have the potential that you saw in this. Like, that can still exist. Maybe not in this person, but it's still out there. But this is a cycle, so we got to close out this cycle first, so we don't keep attracting it instead of attracting what it is that you desire. So, okay, I'm going to hop on over to the extended. You have drama with the Ten of Swords. I'm going to jump on, or I already said I'm going to jump to the extended. I'm going to pull messages looking at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. And then I have an advice card to pull for you at the very end. Thank you so much, Gemini, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Gemini, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.